Millionaire yells for help at the airport, then a teen girl translates and shocks everyone. The airport buzzed with its usual chaos, wheels rolling, loudspeaker announcements echoing, people hurrying through security and boarding gates. But amid the noise and movement, a sudden shout rose above it all, sharp and desperate. "Can someone help me? Please," the voice boomed, startling nearby travelers. All eyes turned to a tall, sharply dressed man in his early 60s. His graying hair and Rolex hinted at wealth, but right now, he wasn't the image of a composed businessman, he was panicking. He stood beside a frail elderly woman in a wheelchair, clearly distraught. She was clutching her chest, her face twisted in pain, whispering something in a language few seemed to recognize. "She can't breathe. Please. She's saying something, I don't know what she's saying. She doesn't speak English. Someone help me understand." People slowed, stared, murmured. A few pulled out phones but didn't move closer. The language barrier turned his cries into background noise. And then, from the far end of the terminal, a small voice spoke up. "I know that language," said a teenage girl in a hoodie and sneakers, no older than 16. She weaved through the crowd and knelt beside the woman, speaking softly in a dialect no one else around seemed to understand. The woman's eyes lit up, her breathing steadied slightly. The businessman looked stunned. You understand her?" The girl nodded. "She's saying she has medicine in her bag, but it's in a blue pouch. She's scared. Her name is Amina." The girl turned to the woman's bag, rummaged quickly, and within seconds produced a small pouch with a bottle of pills. She handed them to the man. "She says she needs one pill now. Right now," the girl instructed. The man fumbled, his hands shaking, but managed to get the pill into his mother's mouth. Within moments, her breathing slowed, her expression softened, and she gave a faint smile. The terminal was silent, as if the world itself paused to watch this unlikely miracle unfold. Who are you?" the man asked, blinking at the teen. "My name's Layla," she said, standing. "I'm just flying home from visiting my aunt." "You saved her life," he breathed, still in disbelief. You did that?" Layla just shrugged. "Anyone would have." "No," he said, firmly. "No, they wouldn't have. They didn't." And it was true. While the rest of the terminal had hesitated, frozen, filming, or watching from a distance, this young girl, this stranger, had acted. An airport medic team arrived, and with Layla translating, they were able to treat the elderly woman until she stabilized enough for transport. The businessman never let go of his mother's hand, but he kept looking at Layla with awe and confusion, like he couldn't quite believe what had just happened. As the stretcher was wheeled away, the man turned to Layla again. "Where are your parents? Are you traveling alone?" "My mom is in Karachi. I came here with my aunt but I'm heading back to the States now, New Jersey," she replied, brushing back her dark curls. The man blinked. "So you're American? Pakistani American? My mom wanted me to learn Urdu to stay close to our roots." He laughed, an incredulous sound. "I spent millions on global business expansion, and never once thought to learn my own mother's native language. I couldn't even understand her in her worst moment." Layla just gave a small, understanding smile. He looked around, then stepped closer. "Can I ask something crazy? What are your plans in life, Layla?" She hesitated. "I want to be a doctor. But college is expensive, and my mom can't afford much. So I'm working hard in school and hoping for scholarships." He stared at her for a long moment, then reached into his coat and handed her a business card. It read, "Daniel Whitaker, CEO, Whitaker Global Enterprises." "I'm not asking for anything," Layla said quickly. "I really was just helping." "I know," he said. "That's why I want to help you." She blinked. "My mother raised me alone," he said. She moved to America with nothing. She cleaned houses, sacrificed everything so I could get educated, build a company. And today, I nearly lost her, because I was too disconnected from her world. His voice cracked a little. You gave me back something I didn't know I'd lost. My mother. My heritage. And my shame, because you showed more courage and compassion in 2 minutes than most do in a lifetime. Layla said nothing, unsure of how to respond. Consider that card a promise, he continued. I'll pay your full college tuition, anywhere you get accepted. Pre-med, med school, everything. What? Her eyes widened. I'm serious, he nodded. In fact, I want you to intern at my foundation this summer. Help us build language access programs for immigrants in hospitals and airports. Because what happened today should never depend on luck, it should be built into the system. Layla's hands shook as she held the card. I don't know what to say. Just say you'll stay in touch. That's all I ask. Tears welled in her eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much. They exchanged contact info, and soon Layla was on her flight, still stunned, still turning the card over in her hand as if it might vanish at any second. Months passed. Layla got into her dream college, and true to his word, Daniel Whitaker paid every cent. She interned with his company, helping launch Project Amina, named after his mother, which provided on-site translators and emergency language access in over 50 U.S. airports within 2 years. She stood beside him at the launch event, no longer just the girl in the hoodie, but a poised young woman with a vision. Daniel introduced her to the crowd. She's not just a future doctor, he said proudly. She's a hero. She reminded me that humanity isn't defined by power, wealth, or age. It's defined by the courage to act when it matters. As the crowd applauded, Amina herself, now recovered and smiling, came on stage to hug Layla, tears in her eyes. Beti, she whispered in Urdu, you were my angel. Moral, sometimes, the smallest voice can carry the greatest impact. In a world often divided by language, status, or fear, it's compassion and courage that bridge the gap, and change lives forever. What began as a cry for help in a crowded terminal became the beginning of a movement, one led by a teen girl who simply chose to care.